Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Friday, July the 10th. This is CTV News. Tonight, first responders salute paramedics and a patient who died in a fiery highway crash. Strange and unusual, an unsettling encounter with a man who died after shots were fired by police. And hanging up his glove and jersey, the Maritime Baseball League honors one of its founding fathers.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. Two paramedics and a patient who were killed when their ambulance collided with a truck near the Confederation Bridge have tonight returned home. A somber procession of first responders today escorted them back to Prince Edward Island, where they will be laid to rest in the days ahead. CTV's Avery McCrae has more.
It's a hero's escort home for a pair of fallen paramedics.
I can't believe it happened, especially to those two good paramedics.
On Tuesday morning, not far from the Confederation Bridge, 56-year-old island paramedic Mike McKenzie and his 23-year-old colleague Jenna Croucher, along with a 77-year-old patient, were killed when their ambulance collided with a transport truck. Today, their bodies are returning to the island through a first responder procession organized by Atlantic 911 Ride.
The procession's going to proceed all the way through the Trans-Canada Highway over to the bridge, and during the procession, we have several fire departments that are going to be lined up on the exits on the route.
The journey began in Rothsay, where numerous paramedics and first responders gathered to send the pair over the bridge one last time. Among them was Ellen McLennan, who would see the duo weekly when they brought patients to the St. John Hospital.
I just recall one day he brought us Cal's chips and the raspberry drink that they offer. So he was just always giving the extra going the extra mile for us. And Jenna always walked down the hallway with a bright smile and that ginger hair of hers. So always nice to see those people.
But it's only a heartbeat away for all these patients that need to go.
Mackenzie was no stranger around the island as a paramedic for over 30 years, and the former lead of PEI's IWK Telethon, which earned him a Maritimer of the Week honor in 2013. Croucher was also a familiar face as the daughter of the island's education minister.
Even though we didn't know them personally, we all feel the loss.
Ambulance New Brunswick paramedic Pat Madsen admits the past few days haven't been easy and has been a stark reminder of the dangers the job presents.
When you think about how quickly something like that can happen, it's a hard pill to swallow.
I think paramedics, we deal with this as a group. As you can see behind us, that's what we do.
A group who came together for one last ride to remember and honor the pair who devoted their lives to helping others. Avery McCrae, CTV News, Hampton, New Brunswick.
And the Prime Minister also acknowledged the tragedy in a social media post today. Speaking on X, the PM wrote earlier this week a collision involving an ambulance in New Brunswick near the Confederation Bridge claimed the lives of 3 Prince Edward Islanders, paramedics Mike McKenzie and Jenna Croucher, as well as Anne Martell, the patient whom they were caring for. My thoughts are with their families and communities across Prince Edward Island who mourn this tragic loss.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Public health officials in Ontario warning people about a couple of potential measles exposures, including one on a flight to Moncton. Peel Public Health says anyone who was on Air Canada Flight 1986 from Toronto to Moncton July 7th may have been exposed to the highly contagious virus. That flight was Tuesday, originating from Pearson International. It's a daily evening flight leaving about 9 o'clock. There was also a second flight mentioned as well, BG 305. That one was from Bangladesh to Toronto via Rome. Anyone who traveled on either flight is being urged to watch for measles symptoms. RCMP today confirming the man who was shot by officers in the Chelsea area this week was killed. Turns out, though, some local people had a disturbing and somewhat violent encounter with the same man hours earlier. CTV's Callum Smith has those details.
Brian Myers was driving home yesterday morning after a long night shift.
I was just coming up around here, and it's a bit of a corner, so I couldn't see him from too far away.
But as soon as he was close enough,
I could see the rifle, and he was looking right at me. So I just ducked my head down to make sure he couldn't shoot me and got out of his line of sight so I could call 911.
But lack of cell service prevented him from getting through right away. Once he got home, shock and anger set in.
I was infuriated that I left my wife home alone, and this guy was actually still in the area.
He was going to stay home from work Wednesday night because at about 6 p.m., RCMP sent an emergency alert warning of a dangerous man with a weapon, telling locals to find a safe location and lock their doors. But that alert was lifted 3 hours later, with police saying officers no longer believed there's a risk to public safety. The alert has been canceled. Investigators remain in the area as they continue the investigation. Residents may resume normal activities.
You'd think he would know exactly where he was if you're going to say something like that.
RCMP say they were then called at 9 a.m. yesterday for a man with a gun in the area, 12 hours after the initial alert was canceled. The Serious Incident Response Team told the public today that when police found the suspect, an officer shot him and he died at the scene. Neither RCMP or CERT are doing interviews. The area councillor says people in her community are
very angry that the first alert was lifted. People were under a false sense of, being okay. And to find out that he was still in the area with a weapon.
Okay, CTV's Callum Smith with that story tonight. A 37-year-old man has been arrested and charged after an investigation into an alleged hate-motivated incident at a Costco store in Halifax. The video, of course, has been widely shared on social media. Police say Randall Byron Publicover was arrested in Port Dufferin yesterday. He is facing several charges, including public incitement of hatred, assault, and 4 counts of uttering threats. Police were called to the store Saturday after reports of a man yelling at and assaulting other customers. The National Council of Canadian Muslims says it's relieved to hear there has been an arrest in the case. New Brunswick families struggling tonight after losing everything in a house fire this week. It also happened just months after a devastating car crash claimed the life of the father. Now, the community is coming together to try and help. CTV's Anna Mandan has that story.
I received a call from my dad asking where we were, and I told him that we were in Nakwik at the grocery store, and he said, "Come home, your house is on fire."
Crews fought the fire for nearly 5 hours. In the end, the family lost everything, including 2 cats, a dog, and a pet snake. But the fire took much more than that.
After losing my husband, this is what we had left of him.
Katerini's husband, Jeff, died in a car crash only 3 months ago. All of his belongings, his ashes, and his wedding ring were in the house when it burned.
I wouldn't wish this on anybody. It's too much for one person to deal with, and I honestly don't even know how I'm standing right now.
But the community is rallying around them. Several businesses have been collecting donations, and tonight, Dumfries Maples will host a charity event to raise money for the Katerinis.
I hope that they feel that this is just like a big hug from their community, that they know that we're there to support them and stand by them.
It's heartbreaking. You don't want to see that happen to anybody, but definitely what she's gone through, this is kind of over the top.
But amidst the tragedy, a glimmer of hope still stands in the form of a tree Katerini and her 2 sons planted on Father's Day that was untouched by the fire.
We had buried some of Jeff's ashes with the tree, so that is truly the only piece of him that we have left.
One family and a community coming together in the midst of the unimaginable. Anna Mandan, CTV News, Dumfries, New Brunswick.
Looks like you'll be paying more if you're planning a summer road trip this weekend, along with paying more for everything else. Diesel jumped another 9 cents a litre in Nova Scotia overnight. The average price now $2.04. The hike follows last week's increase tied to the clean air surcharge. For businesses that depend on that fuel every day, the costs are just piling up.
We try to plan for some fluctuation within our pricing and within our fuel surcharges to help kind of offset that, but obviously we're always working with kind of backwards looking data.
Over time, those costs eventually have to get passed on to the consumer. So it does raise the cost of everything you touch, basically.
Predicting some relief in other parts of the country before the end of the week ahead. The province of Nova Scotia is now taking a hard look at the future of the McKay Bridge. The two-year study in Halifax will examine best options for repairing or replacing the aging span, including the possibility of tunneling under the harbor.
What's a new structure look like? You know, the lanes, transit, and you're future-proofing. Like, you're trying to build something that's going to last, 75, 100 years.
How many lanes might be needed? What active transportation? Does light rail come into play? Busing, all of these things will come into place.
Minister Tilley wants whatever is built to be up and operational by 2040. Some very interesting sights in the Halifax Harbor, the waterfront this evening. A couple of NATO warships are in town, one from Germany, the other from Norway. The two frigates recently operated alongside HMCS St. John's during Fleetix 250, a major U.S. Second Fleet exercise off the eastern seaboard. They also took part in the New York Fleet Week parade of ships, held as part of the events marking the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll tell you about a fascinating ongoing bird research project involving the humble but fascinating European starling. Coming up next, though, coming together.
Decisions will need to be made, and they will be very difficult and painful for those who worship in those churches.
More churches amalgamate in our region in what has become a kind of common practice. That's next. Stay with us. Three United churches in the Halifax Peninsula are amalgamating, a move church leaders insist will ensure a stronger future. CTV's Jesse Thomas tells us it's a response to shrinking congregations and the high cost of maintaining the three buildings.
It's not our mission to maintain buildings. We need a building to operate, but our mission is quite different.
Church leaders say the decision was driven by declining membership and the high costs of keeping these three historic church buildings opened and in good shape.
As beautiful as they are, and as difficult as it will be to make decisions around what do we do with them, we can't really afford to sustain three.
St. Matthew's United Church on Barrington Street will host July services, while the new congregation will shift to St. Andrew's at the corner of Roby and Coburg Street for August. The third church, Fort Massey on Tobin Street, is also part of the amalgamation, which leadership say will bring together a stronger and richer congregation, both spiritually and financially.
And dwindling congregations, and not only dwindling in numbers, but getting older.
While congregations have merged, the three churches, all located on prime real estate in Halifax's South End, have not. Two church properties will eventually be sold.
Decisions will need to be made, and they will be very difficult and painful for those who worship in those churches.
The official launch will happen in September. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Jesse. Take a quick break. When we return, it's your complete maritime weather forecast from the one and only Kaylin Mitchell. Stay with us. Friday night, 10th day of July. Congratulations. We've all made it to the weekend.
Yeah, it always feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
Weekend forecast for the Maritimes. Going to have a lot of sunshine in it. Temperatures still going to be warm for most of the region. Few spots to talk about. And humidity levels will be lower because of the weather system that went through today that brought us some showers and in some cases a few thunderstorms. And that's this cold front. And behind that cold front, winds are drawing in some less humid air out of northern areas of Quebec and bringing it down to the Maritimes. And that's what's getting rid of the mugginess in the air. So let's take a look at our forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation for the rest of tonight, heading into the start of the day for tomorrow. Some fog patches could still be around for areas of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island first thing in the morning. Now that fog will be dissipating as we move from the morning into the afternoon. It'll be a very sunny morning for most of the region with some cloud cover developing in the afternoon. And with those clouds, very low chance for tomorrow. Talking about a 20-30% chance of a couple of pop-up showers, especially for the province of New Brunswick. But those will be driven by daytime heating. So as we move into Saturday evening and Saturday night, any of those showers did pop up will be coming to an end. Fairly clear conditions. And for Sunday right now for the Maritimes, mostly sunny. Taking a look at winds in the forecast for tomorrow, they remain out of the north and northwest. It'll be a little bit breezier in the afternoon with some gusts between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. Taking a look at low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for the province of New Brunswick, they'll fall into a range of around 10 to 15 degrees, around 15 degrees for Charlottetown, Summerside, many communities in Prince Edward Island tonight, and Nova Scotia with some low temperatures between about 13 and 16. Here's a look at your high temperatures in the forecast for Saturday. And for communities in the north of New Brunswick, mostly between 24 and 26. Near 26 for Fredericton for tomorrow, St. Stephen as well as St. John. 25 degrees for Sussex and 24 degrees for Moncton. Get a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon. Low chance of a pop-up shower. Prince Edward Island tomorrow, mostly sunny day. High temperatures in the low 20s. In the north wind, 20 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. High temperatures for Cape Breton between 20 and 25 and warmest towards the interior of the island. Around 24-25 degrees for the north shore of Nova Scotia. Mostly around the low 20s for coastal areas of the eastern shore. 24 for Amherst, 25 for Truro, 26 for Enfield and for Halifax for tomorrow, 24 for Chester and Lunenburg. The Annapolis Valley with high temperatures near 26 degrees and on the south shore of Nova Scotia, 26 for Liverpool and Shelburne, and 23 for Yarmouth. In the extended forecast, beginning first with New Brunswick, sunshine for Sunday. Temperatures get a little bit hotter. Most of the highs will be around the high 20s. Same thing goes for Monday with a mix of sun and cloud. We then have a weather front approaching from the west, the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame for the Maritimes. So that'll bring us a chance of showers those 2 days. Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud, and then Friday, mix of sun and cloud, low chance of showers. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, we have some sunshine for the end of the weekend and the start of next week. That's followed by a chance of showers late in the day on Tuesday and on Wednesday as that front moves through. Now, temperatures are expected to cool a couple degrees behind that front for Thursday and Friday of next week, but still looking pretty comfortable with most of the high temperatures around the low to mid-20s. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, it's sunshine through most of the weekend, then a mix of sun and cloud on Monday with highs near 26. Chance of showers on Tuesday and Wednesday, high temperatures around the mid-20s both of those days. Mix of sun and cloud on Thursday and a mix of sun and cloud for Friday of next week. Bruce.
Thank you, sir. We will verify the wake-up weather just a little later in the broadcast. In the meantime, stay with us. We'll be right back.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
Students at St. Mary's University are getting a close-up look at life inside the nest, measuring, tagging, and studying European starlings as part of a 20-year research project that's tracking everything from breeding habits to the effects of climate change. CTV's Emma Convey has more.
This European starling hatched 11 days ago. It lives with its parents in a nesting box at this university campus.
It's an open-ended learner. That means that the males learn songs throughout their life. They're not limited to a critical window of time to actually learn their songs.
The species is not native to Nova Scotia, but has adapted to the environment here. Biology professor Colleen Barber has been studying them for 20 years.
We go right up from nest building. We look at egg weights and egg sequence. We look at hatching success, how the nestlings do. We measure them, we look at their condition.
There are 45 nesting boxes on St. Mary's University campus. This group of students has been outside with the birds 7 days a week since April.
About 60 grams.
Today is the last day for hands-on learning because the nesting cycle is over. Each student has their own area of focus.
Birds actually sing to attract their mates, so I'm looking into seeing whether males with more complex songs, so they sing longer, have larger repertoires, end up getting more mates.
Hoping to be looking at the nest material in the starling nest, so after the chicks are done fledging, we'll take the nest and I'll be going through it.
The students say this bird's eye view will only benefit future endeavors in the field, like keeping a close eye on population numbers around here.
Their populations, despite being urban thrivers, are declining, not like in their native zones where they're steeply crashing, but here they're declining about 1% a year.
Emma Convey, CTV News.
Okay, thank you, Emma. Time for a quick little break. Coming up, saying farewell to the legendary number 3. First, though, your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at the Armdale roundabout on this Friday night. Comfortable 19 degrees right now. Kaylin's Wake Up is next. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. We'll kick it off with the Wake Up weather.
Yeah, pretty nice start to the weekend as well. Saturday morning with a little bit of fog to dissipate in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. After that, a lot of sunshine. In the afternoon, we'll start to see a little bit of cloud cover develop around the Maritimes, becoming a mix of sun and cloud. And with that cloud cover, very low chance of a couple pop-up showers. Most of the high temperatures tomorrow in the region are going to be quite pleasant, around the low to mid-20s, and humidity levels will be lower compared to the last couple of days. Bruce.
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend. When it comes to sports, some of us have lucky numbers. And for one of Cape Breton's baseball legends, that number is 3. It's been with him through half a century in the sport. As CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us tonight, though, this weekend, his number and his legacy are going up in lights.
For most of his life, Sydney Sooners manager Jim Rico McCackern has laid claim to the number 3. It's even on his license plate.
Someone said, "Where did you get the number 3?" Well, to be perfectly honest, I think it was the original hockey team. It was what came out of the crate.
But it is in baseball where he has made that number count. Now, after 50 years as a player, coach, and manager with the Sydney Sooners, McCackern's number is being retired not only by his team, but by the entire Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League.
And some people would look at that wide-eyed and say, my God, there were some tough years in those 50. I don't remember them.
You know, they opened up their home to me, he and his wife, Susan.
Scott Siegfried played for the Sooners in the late 1980s. He's one of hundreds of players Rico has influenced over the years and has flown in from Ohio to be there Saturday night when his old coach is honored before a game against the Kentville Wildcats.
He's really been, you know, at times kind of a big brother for me. Other times, he's my favorite uncle, and still others, really a father figure.
If good things come in 3s, then Rico McCackern might soon have one more honor to enjoy to go along with his jersey retirement and the Sydney Sooners' 50-year anniversary celebrations.
In the history of pro sports, only 3 numbers have been retired league-wide. You have 99 in hockey for Gretzky, 42 in baseball for Jackie Robinson, and 6 in the NBA for Bill Russell. So you have to be a true legend.
Totally flabbergasted, and again, my word would be very humbled.
Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Thank you, Ryan. That is your late news for tonight, and that's it for this week, as a matter of fact. If you joined us late or you'd like to stay on top of things all weekend long, feel free to visit ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It is, after all, your home for news. I'm Bruce. Of all of us here at Bell Media, have yourself a good night and a great weekend. See you.